Director Denis Villeneuve has a fantastic track record. I don't think there's a single movie that I would say is bad that's directed by him, which is quite a feat because he's made a lot of movies. His most recent and recognizable works include Blade Runner 2049 and Arrival, both of which won Oscars, so it's not surprising that I like him so much. But a lot of people neglect to talk about some of his other movies that weren't featured in the Academy Awards, and my personal favorite of his would be Prisoners. Prisoners is easily one of my favorite movies of all time. It definitely goes on that list. And I want to talk about the reasons why. I know these are all the same reasons that I brought up in my Mr. Robot video, but I mean, music, cinematography, and acting are basically the only things I look for in a movie because I'm very easy to please. Now, it's no surprise that any movie shot by Roger Deakins is going to be absolutely beautiful to look at, considering he is one of the best cinematographers of all time. He knows how to make some good-looking shots, and Prisoners is no exception. This movie is absolutely gorgeous to look at. It plays it very subtly, though. It's not over the top in the way it looks. It's not like Blade Runner 2049 levels of style and color, but that's what makes it so charming. This movie is supposed to be very down-to-earth. It's a crime thriller, so it's not that surprising. I always say that this is the closest thing to a David Fincher movie, a non-David Fincher movie can get. That being said, that doesn't mean Roger Deakins doesn't stretch his cinematography muscles every now and then. There are some beautiful wide shots. There's this one shot during the search for these two missing girls that is the focal point of the movie, that goes through this river and goes under this bridge. It's just absolutely beautiful, and it just shows that even though a lot of the scenes with characters interacting are solely for the characters interacting, there's nothing too fancy going on with the camera, that fancy stuff can still go on with the camera. Just like the cinematography, the music is treated the exact same way. It's beautiful and absolutely done by a talented composer. The soundtrack is composed by a guy named Johannsson. His work in this movie is subtle and quiet, but loud and exciting when it needs to be. But when characters are interacting, it's played subtly. It's not over the top or loud, but it's used when it needs to. The final scene and the climax of the movie, when Detective Loki has found the girl that's missing and is taking her to the hospital, and in this very intense, edge-of-your-seat moment, the music just, it hits you, and that's when you realize, wow, this soundtrack has been here the whole time and I didn't notice, but it's super good. The first 30 minutes is just a normal Thanksgiving dinner that's just nothing but character exposition, but it's done so normal. It's exactly what you would think looking in on a random Thanksgiving dinner to look like. The child actors of the two children who get kidnapped later in the movie, it blows my mind how they are so normal. Overall, Prisoners is just a super emotional movie. It's played subtly, but indulges itself in beautiful cinematography and soundtrack and fantastic acting. It's just everything I would want out of a crime thriller.